It is time once again to look at another crazy, amazing, huge, luxurious,
and expansive
suite on board the Royal Caribbean Symphony of the Seas. All of the Oasis class ships from Royal Caribbean have this style of suite, and in this series we have looked at a one-bedroom suite. We've looked at one of those aqua theater suites looking out the back of the ship. We also checked out that crazy family suite with all the games in it and the 2 levels and the slide going from the top to the bottom. And today, in the final video from this series, we're going to be looking at a Crown Loft Suite, which is a nice mix between sort of the huge luxurious suites and sort of more basic, although nothing about this is basic. It's just kind of a nice mix of both worlds in a way. It's pretty fancy, but it's not over the top, except for the price maybe. If you're new here, I'm Morgan from the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. I travel all around the world to popular and not so popular tourist destinations to give you a very honest, unofficial look at what it's like to be there. I also wrote a book called Getting Stitches on a Cruise Ship, filled with fun, crazy, travel-related stories of true things that have happened to me around the world. It's not only a way for you to get something fun to read while you're waiting for your next flight, it's also a great way to support what I do here on the Very Unofficial Travel Guide. So if you like reading, check out Getting Stitches on a Cruise Ship. It's available on Amazon now. And now let's take a look at this suite.
Stars, I keep seeing stars inside your eyes. In my mind, I'm holding on to all the sparks.
Most of the suites on these Oasis classes of ships, most of the suites on this class of ship are in this big sort of box that's on the top of the ship. Some of them have balconies looking out to the side, and some of these suites that cost $20,000, $30,000 per cruise have gigantic balconies that look over the back of the ship where you have no privacy at all. The Crown Loft Suite that we're going to be looking at here did have a balcony off to the side, so that's kind of a bonus when you're spending that much money for a suite. One thing that I think makes this particular Crown Loft special is I think it's the only one that has this really long hallway that leads into the suite. By the way, as you're looking around in here, 2 things I want to tell you. First of all, if you haven't seen any of these other videos, the reason that there are so many people walking around in this suite is because this was a cabin crawl. Special thanks to the people who organized the cabin crawl, and a really special thanks to the people staying in this cabin who let us all come in there and take a look at it. And another thing I wanted to tell you is every time I've posted one of these videos from the cabin crawl, there's been people in the comments saying, "Hey, do you know who Ben and David are? They were on that cabin crawl too. I can see them in the video." And I just want everybody to know, yes, I know who Ben and David are. Sorry if I'm like laughing about it, but asking me if I know who Ben and David are, that's like asking NSYNC if they know who the Backstreet Boys are. We both kind of do the same thing. I think we know who each other are. In fact, I even met them on this cruise and got to say hello and take some pictures with them as well. So yes, Ben and David are in this video as well, and I do know who they are. This suite almost kind of had an apartment feel to me. The only thing that it was missing to make it really seem like an apartment would be a mini kitchen. But on a cruise, of course, you don't need a kitchen in your room because there's enough food everywhere. One thing it did have that the standard cabins on Royal Caribbean don't have is its own coffee and espresso machine. And you know, there are cruise lines that do offer coffee machines in the cabins. Royal Caribbean is not one of them unless you book a suite. Downstairs there's a table if you want to have some nice in-cabin dining. There is a couch area and a huge television. And one of the things that of course makes this space so special is that the bedroom, the sleeping area, is upstairs. And upstairs is also a full bath with everything you would need for a bathroom. So if you need to pee in the middle of the night, like if you're my age, you're gonna have to at least once. You won't have to walk all the way down the stairs to use the bathroom. I was just trying to think, Marcus and I stayed in a double level suite on the Mein Schiff, which is like the German brand of TUI, but the upstairs was like the outside, so there was no bathroom up there. Anyways, this bathroom is Morgan approved, which means it has a fully closing, non-see-through door, which I think is great. And also, there is another full bathroom downstairs, and you know, this is really luxurious because I don't think you're gonna be staying in this suite with more than 2 people. I can't tell you what the actual maximum capacity is, but is probably only like 3 or maybe 4. So the fact that you have 2 full bathrooms for a suite like this, upstairs and downstairs, is pretty luxurious. And we're gonna look at the price now, and as I've said in the other videos in this series, remember, even though this price is very high, and I mean,
it's a big price.
Remember, when you book a suite on a cruise, you're not just paying for the space, you're paying for a ton of extra perks that come with it. And speaking of paying for a cruise and what you get when you pay for a cruise, in last week's Sunday Sofa Time, which is a series I do here on the Very Unofficial Travel Guides, where I also sit down here in front of the red sofa when I'm not traveling and talk about some interesting travel related topic. In last week's Sunday Sofa Time, I talked about how I feel like it's almost discrimination the way that solo travelers have to pay so much more money than people who travel in couples on cruises. And that is going to be the topic, that video is going to be the topic of an upcoming Sunday Sofa Time, because some of you really let me have it in the comments, and there are some things that some of you out there and I definitely disagree on. So just make sure you're subscribed and check back here soon if you want to get into that discussion again. But yeah, when you go on a cruise, you're not just paying for the cabin, you're paying for a bunch of other things that are included in the cruise fare. And when you pay for a suite, you're getting way more things than the people who are staying in a standard balcony cabin or an inside cabin. Anyways, we were on the transatlantic of this cruise from Miami to Barcelona, and I look for the price when the ship goes back from Barcelona to Miami. It's 14 days towards the end of the year, and the price for this suite for 2 people is over $16,000. Like I said, you're getting a lot of perks for that, and in fact, I think this is one of the least expensive suites that we looked at, but still, if you have $16,000 in your vacation budget for one trip,
can we be friends?
Will you go check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/veryunofficial? Or maybe buy all of your friends getting stitches on a cruise ship for Christmas. I am not wealth shaming anyone. I just, being able to spend $16,000 on one 2-week trip just seems like, that seems like a lot of, what's the word for it? Expendable income or extra income? I don't have that, not that much. I hope you enjoyed taking this short look around the Crown Loft Suite on Royal Caribbean. I know a lot of people who stay in these suites, they get discounts for being like Crown and Anchor members and things like that. So not everybody who stays in a suite pays full price for it. Some people even, I think, get them for free because they just spend so much money in the casinos. Maybe that's what I should do. But let me know what you think about this suite. Is this someplace you'd want to stay in? Have you stayed in one of these suites? What did you think of it? And also let me know what's your next cruise coming up. I'm Morgan from the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. See you soon.